What's going on, everybody? My name is Paul. Welcome back to the basketball show. Another great player, as well as an ex-coach, has come out and touched on the NBA GOAT debate, and that's great. The man is an NBA champion as a starter on an NBA team. He played 16 seasons in the NBA. He averaged 7 points, 5.5 assists, and 25 minutes a game. Just looking at the point average, you might think he was not that good of a player, but when he played, he was a true point guard of that time. He was a great facilitator on the floor, and he played for a great team in the San Antonio Spurs and one of the greatest coaches, who is Popovich. Now, he was also an NBA coach for the Dallas Mavericks, as well as the New Jersey and Brooklyn Nets, and I think it listed New Jersey and Brooklyn Nets because he was a coach during the time when they moved from one state to another. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't check into that, but that's probably that. He also coached the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, the man is Avery Johnson, and he was on Mark Jackson's podcast. And as always, what they do at the end of their show, they ask the question about the NBA GOAT and who it is. And Avery Johnson, with all of his player and coaching experience, knows what the heck he's talking about. So he's not just some random guy. He's got coaching experience. He has 16 years of playing experience as a starter. For most of those years, he played with greats, and he coached greats, and he coached against greats. So he knows the game of basketball in and out. Now, his answer will most likely not shock you, but it will solidify a bit the main narrative, which is constantly under attack, but the guys wanting to prop up their fake king that is currently playing in the softest era of basketball, LeBron James. And it is the softest era of basketball because it's on video being said by the current commissioner of the NBA, by Jerry West, by Kobe Bryant, and many other guys. It's the softest era of basketball, guys. Now, here are the comments Avery Johnson made. And some of the things he says have a very low volume, which I think had to do with his microphone setup. I tried to turn the volume up a little bit. So sorry if something is not very clear, but you should pick up probably 90% of what he said. Now, if you want to watch the full interview, I'll post the link to that episode in the description, as well as the link to the Basketball GOAT store on Amazon, where you can get your shirts and hoodies that represent the real basketball GOAT, not the fake one.
Let me ask you this question. Who is your GOAT basketball player? You've seen a lot. You've played against a lot and you witnessed a lot. Who is the greatest basketball player of all time?
Yeah, so, we can really peel back all of the numbers. You can even go with the eye test. But everybody else is a distant second behind Mike. Just a distant. And there's no disrespect on it. So please do not send me any. Okay? It's my opinion. Right? Michael, just for all the different reasons. But when you win 6 championships, you're the MVP of all 6. You never get to a game 7. And all of the defensive player of the year, the first team all defense, first team all NBA, MVPs, regular season MVPs. I think there was another stat that, he didn't have as many as the revolving door of free agents that he played. And he did it with one team. And he had to go through Detroit Pistons and the Boston Celtics and the Lakers, Phoenix Suns, and Clyde with that Portland team that could have easily won championships, and Karl Malone and Stockton with Utah. The rules were different. There was a lot more restricted freedom of movement and physicality. It's Michael, and I just the clutch shots and just two-way player. Yeah, it's just Michael. What they did with the Dream Team. Yeah.
Now, Johnson talked about the eye test. He said you can look at all the numbers you want, and it doesn't matter. The overall body of work just gives one simple answer. Everybody, including LeBron James, are a distant second to the great Michael Jordan. Simple as that. As Johnson said, Michael did this with one team in a very tough physical era, in a slower game with a lot of restriction on player movement and hand check. He beat great teams, and he never allowed a Game 7 to be played in the NBA Finals while he was there. The teams he played against are disparaged that they were supposedly not that great, but it's because Michael Jordan was that great, and he made them look like they were not as good as they really were. The unmatched collection of accolades is also a huge factor. You can talk all you want about Michael Jordan having Scottie Pippen and Rodman, but for logic's sake, Pippen averaged 19 points a game in the NBA Finals, in all the finals he played with Mike. He had a 42% field goal percentage. And Pippen also had a 22% percentage from the three-point range. I mean, come on. Mike carried those guys like a superhuman. Mike had finals averages of 33.6 points per game. In the NBA Finals, the 6 times he went, his field goal percentage was 48.1. And his three-point percentage was 36.8% from three-point range during the NBA Finals on the biggest stage there is. LeBron James can't even step up to him. The guy was a total assassin in the NBA Finals, plus as great a defender as Scottie was, Mike had only 5 steals less than Pippen through the 6 finals they played together, while scoring almost 15 points more, while averaging more minutes than Scottie as well. It is true that this debate is not and never was close. LeBron played many more years now, supposedly had a much longer prime, and still is in great shape. Some say he's still in his prime. He looks that good sometimes. Yet the only thing accomplished over Mike are total stats due to a softest era of basketball he plays in and the amount of years played. And now, while using his son, he has playing with his son on his resume, and Jordan does. It's great to see guys explain this over and over. And these guys not only played with Mike, but they actually coached against LeBron James as well. So they truly know what they're talking about. Kenny Smith said this. Avery Johnson had said this. Jerry West stated that this era is the softest it has ever been, and the current commissioner of the NBA literally said in an interview with Kevin Garnett that they took the physicality out of the NBA to allow players to be more effective. What the hell do you think that means? It means that LeBron and every other player's stats after Mike had retired and the hand checking had been removed in 2004, all those stats are inflated and would never resemble the numbers we see today in the 90s slower and more physical game. Just would not happen. Players would never last as long as James has because of the physicality and being beat up every single night. The funniest thing is, in the 90s, players, as Magic Johnson stated, were actually proud and always wanted to play all 82 games. While today's players, with much less physicality, constantly are seen load managing and resting. No wonder they play in the NBA for 20 years. I mean, look at Kevin Durant. The guy is skinny as a young tree. In the 90s, he'd break from being bumped too much. Yeah, he has a great shot, but he wouldn't have all this space and all this freedom in the 90s. I'm sorry, he just would not. I truly hope this gets people talking and the league reverses course. The current trajectory destroyed NBA rivalries through competition. People are so disinterested in the NBA, especially during the season, that they had to actually create a mid-season tournament, which the Lakers won and Ron celebrated with champagne and goggles. Ridiculous. Now, consider becoming a member of the channel, supporting more and more content this kind coming your way. Make sure to watch the latest video where LeBron faces 90s defense and gets embarrassed, and Tim Hardaway talking about today's players' lack of basketball IQ. Thank you for watching again. See you in the next one.